I'll quickly introduce this side of the panel, and then we can get right into it. So by myself, I'm Shash. I'm founder and CEO at Doorstep.ai. And I have here joined with me David and Sheila. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and then we'll get into it.
Sure. Hello, everybody. David Deschler, EVP, Data Science AI at OneRail. We're currently partnering with Doorstep.ai because they're doing cool stuff, and I'm glad to be here to chat about it.
Hey everyone, thank you all for coming. I'm Shil Patel, co-founder and CTO here at Doorstep.ai.
Awesome, so we'll get into it. So topic for today was navigating the impossible, the future of doorstep delivery. So I'll take you guys a little bit, into what are we trying to solve? What is Doorstep doing? How is OneRail partnering with us? What are the efforts around it? So at a high level, what we do at Doorstep is we track or we allow, customers to have visibility on the driver's pathway from the vehicle to the doorstep of the customer. So going from, where did the driver park? Where did he leave the vehicle? Where did he enter a building? Where exactly did he take an elevator? Which floor did he go up to? Even on the floor, which unit did he deliver something to? And that's when we came to David and the team, and they got super excited about it, and we were excited to see how we can apply this into the real world scenarios. So going a little bit into, what is the technology overview? That's the first question. So exactly what do you guys do? How do you do it? Give me everything that's under the hood. So what we're the missing layer between the GPS and the doorstep. So as of today, what's benchmark is basically using a GPS to track the drivers. GPS has anywhere from a 20 to 50 meter accuracy. Especially in urban environments, that GPS accuracy goes down a lot. And especially even if you go inside a building, even in a rural environment, it's a black box. You have no idea where a driver is, what the driver is doing, what's the driver activity. So what we do is we mark out key points like the entrance, elevation points, marking out the floor, and then where on the floor did you deliver. At best, we're under 3 meters and even under half a meter of accuracy. Now I'm going to hand it a little bit to David here to talk a little bit about this piece.
Yeah, so obviously when you're dealing with as many deliveries as we are, every minute that extra that each delivery takes is time that you don't want to be applied to your SLA. So we try to promise all of our customers 98, 99% on time rates. In order to be able to do that, we need to understand the dynamics of every drop-off. So we have machine learning models that pre-compute a lot of these risk scores and tells us if we need to give people more time to do something. But ultimately, the question always comes up, especially on the customer side, it's like, well, why? Where's the driver? Why did that happen? Why did they have to wait? Why wasn't this on time? Doorstep enables us to answer a lot of those questions and produce machine learning models that tell us, hey, because of where this specific apartment is in this building, it's going to take an extra 15 minutes for that person to go, get through concierge, find the whatever, get up the elevator, and get to the destination to drop that package off. These small increments across millions and millions of deliveries end up adding up to a lot of time. And so being able to see exactly what happened also gives us tools to inform our shipper customers like Lowe's of why certain exceptions have happened and be able to correct those ahead of time. So when we see something specific happening in a building, we can build machine learning models to automate things like announce advisory of that there's additional risk. Hey, the driver's approaching because of the location that they're in specifically, we can give them a notification that says, hey, you might need to go meet the driver. This is a complex situation. There's a lot of failures here and all of that. Doorstep gives us the ability to see that, and every single delivery that we do, get those precise GPS locations. So even just the basics, like driving around a city with tall, GPS requires line of sight. So if there's a tall building blocking out the sky, the GPS signal is probably not going to get to you. And in those scenarios, what we see is GPS jitter all over the map, right? And that doesn't help us because we use a lot of that GPS data to formulate routes and figure out if drivers went off course and all of this other stuff. And so when they're jittering all over the map, we have basically no data. It's continuous noise. With the enhancements that Doorstep AI provides, we can now provide a better experience to our customers to know whether or not things are on track, even if it's a heavy urban environment or you're going inside a giant building, or even like a giant dock where there's 50 different places where somebody can load. Our customers, I'm sorry, there's a lot of good stuff with this. Our customers a lot of times have very large warehouses and facilities. You have to go to a specific place. Well, wouldn't it be cool if we could automatically tell them where they need to go with the kind of accuracy that we get with Doorstep? that's kind of what we're achieving. So anytime you need to go to dock 5, right, even if the GPS starts to get flaky, we now can send the driver straight to where they need to go, and we can automatically determine that based on where other deliveries have succeeded in the past. And so because we're dealing with all of this data, each data point here and each time these deliveries happen gives us more and more information about the locations.
Absolutely. I'm gonna pass it a little bit to Sheil. Sheil, can you speak to a little bit about like, you know, exactly what's happening? Why are we not utilizing a GPS? A question that we get a lot is like, you know, drivers don't have cell connection. Drivers don't have, you know, connection on their phones through elevators and Wi-Fi signals and whatnot. Sheil, can you speak to a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure thing. So when you think about the current state of routing and tracking, it really is, it's very good at getting you to the parking lot. Okay, GPS works well, decent outside. It'll get me to the parking lot. What happens after? That is essentially the missing layer that we are solving for. From parking lot to doorstep, what is there ensuring the driver went to the right door, went to the right staircase, the right apartment, warehouse, dock, whatever it may be. We do that through essentially a sensor fusion on the device. So, you know, your smartphone is actually one of the best tracking systems that is ever known to man, and yet it's unutilized in this case. So we are using the power of the smartphone in order to accurately track the driver to every step after they park the car in the parking lot. So get out of the car. Which building did they go to? Which floor? Where on that floor did they go to? And of course, when you think about, you know, I'm a driver, I have to deliver to a gigantic warehouse, 10,000 square feet. Where do I go? That information is incredibly valuable.
One thing I want to add on top of what Sheil was mentioning, right? So we've seen this a lot. There's usually 4 layers to it. The first one is, which building is the driver supposed to go to? At that building now, so let's say for example, we take an apartment complex. Apartment complexes, let's say for example, it's called, you know, Fox apartment complexes. They have 4 buildings. There's building 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one of those 4 buildings is the driver supposed to go to when Google Maps or the leading mapping providers are providing a geolocation of all 4 right in the center of that? So that's a big issue that we solve on day 0, which is tell you this is the building 1 that you need to go to. Now at building 1, where am I supposed to enter? Is it in the front side, back side, on a back entrance, front entrance? That's the second layer. When you go inside, where is the elevator? First, if you're taking the entrance, which is the closest entrance to the elevator? That's a big point as well. Is your driver spending a lot of time looking for an elevator, going all the way around? That's probably 2 or 3 minutes. And those 2-3 minutes is what we're talking about in optimization. And when we go into the elevator as well, you're going into a numbering system that the driver never understands in an apartment building as well. Frankly speaking, as I do deliveries, even I don't understand it. It's very random numbering inside a unit number as well, so it's very high error rate around that. So those are the layers that we try to go after. Talking a little bit about like how this looks like from a OneRail perspective, and the team has been really nice to be able to share this, is, you know, this is what we see as the future of where we want to take this with the team. So when a driver shows up to a specific address, they're now able to see, oh, this is the entry point, this is the pathway that I need to take, oh, the elevator or the staircase is on this side of the apartment building. And for example, in this use case, you're also seeing what the driver's seeing as text. The entire industry is today used to delivery instructions from the customer. So you're basically relying on the customer to enter the accurate information for the driver to do their job with no actual, you know, interference from the company itself, when the company is liable for the product to get there. Neither is the customer nor is the driver. It's actually, at the end of the day, it's the company. So I think that's where we see a really large value add. I'm going to have, you know, if David, you want to share a little bit around like, where do you see the largest application for this for you guys within your customer segment, etc.?
Oh yeah, so absolutely, it's just making sure that they get to where they need to go faster, and that even includes inside stores. So that's the first layer of this. For the indoor navigation part, I know you have something coming up. What we end up doing with this data is, so we will watch where a successful delivery happens each time. Now this doesn't really help with GPS because you watch it and GPS disappears at some point. You really can't see what happens after that. Then we're going to automatically determine where the successful delivery points are. And a lot of our pickups and drop-offs less so, but especially pickups where they're coming into a store, the pickups happen in the same place, right? So without anybody having to specify the internal coordinates or anything like that, we'll pick up the data from Doorstep, and then we'll go ahead and automatically mark the indoor coordinate where everybody has stopped, and that, again, via a Doorstep feed. Now when the person's walking in, we can direct them to the best place to go park, because we know exactly where they're going to have to go pick the stuff up, and where the first interior facing door is that people have successfully walked through. It's a huge increase in productivity for the drivers. They're not lost. We have huge problems with when drivers they can't find their way, and then everybody gets into an argument about, well, whose fault was it that the driver can't get to the door and all of that. This eliminates a lot of that just back and forth. So our customers are happier and their customers are happier.
Absolutely. And one more thing that I want to add on to what David mentioned was around like improved geofencing as well. This is something we're seeing as an interesting trend moving forward as well. If you think about it today within the industry, and David, you can talk about this, is like, you have a 30-meter, 50-meter geofence, right? Now, how are you going to bring that geofence down as much as possible? How can you bring that down to 10 meters so you know accurately what exactly is happening, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the other problems. Driver swipes are not reliable. People forget to swipe that they've arrived at certain places, and this goes with, so we connect with a multitude of driver apps, like everything out there basically that you can have on a handheld, we're probably integrated with, but it's a common problem amongst every single one of them. No UX or UI has solved the fact that the driver goes and delivers and then says, oops, I forgot to even pick that I arrived and all of that stuff. And then goes and swipes everything. And that breaks all of our data, so those end up being outliers, so we need to get rid of those. Or we're trying to say, we want to be able to predict things like, well, how long is the pack-unpack time? Because we want to plan a route for you. And if we don't know how long it's going to take at the location, we can't really give you a good number. Sure, you can set a static number and say, everything takes 15 minutes. Okay, right. But it really doesn't. It takes more or less. There's always variation. So having more accurate data there allows us to plan better routes too. So when you think about planning multiple 30, 40 stop routes in a day, to cover hundreds of thousands of packages, this is going to improve our ability to get everything there on time, not overbook a driver, and all that kind of stuff, because now we have intelligence on how long it takes and how long and where the driver's going to have to go based on the actual location they're picking up or dropping off from.
Absolutely. So we're going to go into a small piece which David just mentioned, because just in the interest of time. So this is where we see, deliveries heading. This is real-time wayfinding for deliveries up to the doorstep of the customer. If you guys had used an AirTag before and tried to find your AirTag inside your apartment or inside, your house, that's where we want to take this. So just a disclaimer, this is something that we see out in the next 6 to 8 months in a year as we partner with more companies and as we partner with OneRail. This is, looking at how can we give a compass level inside the building guidance in real time to a delivery driver as they would be going to any other place via Google Maps, via Apple Maps, any of that infrastructure. So basically you hold your phone in your hand, and we've done this as a live demo where we basically are able to say, hey, take a right at this point. As you're walking through, you're getting an actual assistant guiding you through this process. And in real time as well, we're giving event notifications to the customer saying, hey, driver's now entered your building. You're probably going to receive your package in about 2 minutes.
Yep.
Now you're taking that notification of the customer, which he's used to today in 50-meter geofence radius, down to under a minute or 2 minutes. Your package theft rate is going to go down. Your reliability on your carriers are going to go, much higher. On the delivery instruction side, once we deliver to an apartment complex area, you have an automatic instruction panel that comes up for any driver who's going to deliver there. It's completely machine learning generated. As far as visual goes, that's a little bit more futuristic, where we want to make this completely visual. Driver can just hold their phone up, have their camera open, and then deliver. This is complete real-time guidance. I was not allowed to share the video because of presentation, but we can do it right now as well. As far as where this acts as a force multiplier, there's a couple of areas. I use the word AI because everyone's loving it right now. There's AI-powered optimizations. Great, fits the bill. So we give you dynamic ETA data, which is super helpful around your route optimizations. What David just mentioned was super helpful. Like, you're currently accounting for 10 minutes as a drop-off time, but you don't know that one of those drivers is taking 2 minutes to deliver to the same place. Why can't you have all the other drivers mimic what that driver did in 2 minutes? You're going to optimize your route automatically. In terms of real-time wayfinding, I shared an example. David, you want to add a little bit around customer service here and consumer experience overall as you see it?
Yeah, I even have personal experience with this one. I live in an apartment complex right now in downtown Orlando, Florida, and it's only 11 stories. There are some taller ones there. the amount of times I get missed deliveries it's staggering. If it's not the same companies over and over again coming and I'm ordering from the same places, like anytime I get something new, it gets misdelivered. I just had one happen while I was here, and it's super frustrating because then they're like, oh, well, if you don't respond back to us, we're going to ship your stuff back, and all of that. Just for knowing that somebody's about to arrive and getting better notifications of, hey, somebody's coming to the door, somebody's there, right? Not just they're on their way, right? Like, is that the best we can do? In these cases, being able to know that the person's coming to the door or is approaching the entrance, that can help me a lot, because I also know that, given the residential building I live in, there's a concierge service and they're not always there. And if they're not there and the code doesn't work for whatever reason, because it never does, I can't figure that one out either. Whoever's making codes in the audience, fix that. I don't know what's going on there. It should work. But then it becomes another missed delivery, and it ends up being like 2 or 3 days later before I can, whatever it is that I'm going to get. Sometimes I kind of needed it. So now I have to run to the store, and then I have extra stuff. It's a whole mess. I'm sure you've all experienced that too, right? So limiting that kind of stuff.
To add to what David was saying as well, like, at a omni-channel level, OneRail is working with a lot of those carriers. When we go deeper and work directly with the delivery driver apps, what we see is a very large value add is, now if I get a package today and it says that it's delivered but I can't find it, the biggest problem is the customer service person sitting on their desk has the same information as me. They have a GPS lat long point and a proof of delivery picture. How are they going to help me better than I can help myself? So this is providing more information by tracking the driver more granularly on exactly what's happened.
Yeah, so our delivery support agents then will just be able to watch and go, hey, they took it in, they walked down the stairs and they put it on wherever that is next to the door. It's not yours, but it's right next to your door. Can you go see if it's there? And that definitely helps us, our customer experience as well, that additional data.
Yeah, and I'll quickly cover, we have about a minute. I want to open up for questions, but we have a very transparent pricing and coverage in terms of pricing. We only price when you click a link. It's based on usage, end-to-end integration. It's a simple SDK. It's just 4 lines of code that sits behind a driver app. It's as easy as that. David was smiling when we told him that.
Yeah, it's so easy, even ChatGPT can do it.
Awesome. Well, I'll keep the last minute for a question or two if we have from the audience. But here's our contacts if you guys want to email us or get in touch.
This. How do you do the mapping of the apartment building, whatever complex, whatever? Is it based on historical performance? And you store that, or could you explain that?
Yeah, so to answer your question, when we go to an apartment building, we basically have a repository of the outer polygon. So we know which building it is, we know which polygon it is. Upon the first delivery, so let's say for example, when we track the first delivery, there's immediate value to your customer service team. That adds as a value add to us, because then we're able to say, hey, here's where the entrance is, here's where the elevator is, here's where the doorstep is. If you've been there before with the same fleet, then we have ideas about where it would be. But upon the first delivery is when we gain a lot of that information. Yep.
So what are you guys doing for proof of delivery if the customer or the vendor doesn't have their own?
Yeah, so just to understand your question better, are you saying in terms of proof of delivery picture, like a driver app or something like that?
FedEx has their own app, or their own proof of delivery.
Yeah.
It's not FedEx.
Totally. So our requirement is that we integrate into the driver app of the customer. So if you do have a driver app, like for example, use FedEx as an example, we would have to integrate with the FedEx driver app underneath, and that's how we would be able to provide it. David?
If you need a driver app, we have one too. So OneRail driver, this is getting integrated into, so everybody that's using our software will get this, as well as we have proof of delivery, proof of signature, and all that on the app.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Thank you.